Is it on? It is. So I made myself laugh today. Made myself look like a bit like a hillbilly. So you see this outfit I'm wearing? I made it when I was at the Women's Refuge, and basically this outfit is made out of the curtains that were hanging up in my room, which were so thin that they didn't keep out any cold, so they was useless. So I took them down and made two outfits for humour. Just I thought it was humorous, you know. I thought I wondered if they'd recognise, you know, I wondered if the staff would recognise that if I walked around in this outfit, if they'd be like, "Aren't those the curtains from that refuge room?" But anyway, so yeah, I've been a bit tearful again today, but I think it's because I'm due my menstrual cycle, and like that also always makes us a little bit glum, doesn't it? So look, I've what do you call it, done my hair like this as well. So what's been upsetting me at the moment? Well, not particularly upsetting me. I've spent all day yesterday sorting out, just organising more stuff and decluttering, and my I've got five brothers, and the one that we share the same dad and the same mum. I've got one of those brothers, and he I started doing family tree when I was about 15 or 16, and he just started catching up with it kind of recently, and about, you know, 30 years later. And he contacted me to ask if I had some a photo that someone had asked, you know, a great 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 aunt or something like that. So I was going through all my photos and I was organising them. I thought I ended up putting my photos in a divider, one of them folder things, separating out who the people were, because my photos just haven't ended up in albums yet. So that's something to do. So that might be something I do today. But yeah, I've just been reflecting on life again, and trying to just make sense of life. I'm not sure if I'm looking at the camera right. Is it this end? That end? Yeah, I'm just trying to make sense of life, and it's just like how naive I've been in life, and the unfairness, and how my own stupidity and my own lack of confidence in myself, and my own lack of standing up myself has got me in so much trouble, or hurt me so badly for so many decades. You know, and probably things that I need to share with you, but perhaps hmm well, for instance, you know, in my faith, that I'm kind of, you know, I'm on the fence with my faith. I love it, but I don't believe it's true, or that it's pure anymore. I believe that it's had some corruption that hasn't been sorted out. Um, so, but anyway, in my faith, you don't have sex outside of marriage, and I really, my whole heart was not to do that, and but the guys were involved was involved with at the time, um, the two people that I was intimate with, I hadn't chosen to be intimate with them, and so it's just really sad that I just wasn't able to stand my ground and defend my rights. You know, as a woman that wanted to keep well, respect my faith, and so and because I thought my faith was absolutely, you know, God led, I thought that obeying my faith was the ultimate thing to do. Um, so, anyway, I've cleared up some space on my phone. I've finally deleted loads of photos that have been apparently uploaded, backed up on Google, but I was really worried that they hadn't been stored. Unfortunately, the little videos I've done, I've just uploaded them straight to YouTube and then deleted them off my phone. So I don't actually have any records apart from on YouTube. So I might have to do something about that and re-download them and copy them for the future. Um, so yeah, it's just I feel so sad with myself to have allowed myself to be the one that suffers, because that's what's happened. I'm the one suffering for other people, and I'm the one in the pain, and they're all okay, you know. And it's just, I'm just feeling sad for myself, really. So the first guy was my fiance. I've been with him 18 months, and just one day, I was 18 at the time, he just decided to strip my clothes off and just make out. I didn't know. He'd never made out before. I'd never made out, and I hadn't. He knew what the rules were. He knew that we'd been separated um, already, because he was trying to be intimate with me, and yeah, and he got baptized, and anyway, so it was because that he was trying to be intimate with me again that I ended up kind of splitting with him or having an argument with him. And then the person that was meant to be my friend, also in the church, that was the new member, who also knew what the rules were, what did he go and do? He went ahead and raped me, and I didn't even know that he was going to be intimate with me. I was fully clothed. He had no settee in his room. His bed was the settee, and I'd gone to visit him as a friend, but I was upset, and he'd made advances on me. But he kissed me. I didn't know he was gonna like blooming stick himself in me. I was so stupid. I know that probably no one can believe this, but he was in a bed sit, and he I'd gone round there when he answered the door in like a robe, like a bathrobe, but it was like to his ankles and to his, what do you call it, wrists, and he was totally covered up, and I didn't know that he would invite me in if he was naked underneath his clothing. How stupid am I? I didn't know that, so I didn't, and so the person that I would have wanted to be with, which was my fiance, I ended up with this other guy that, I ended up pregnant with, and ended up marrying because the church said to be forgiven of my sins to marry him. But I didn't tell them that the reason why I'd fallen out with and separated from my fiance was because he was trying to be sexual with me when it was against my church rules. So why would I want to go ahead and be sexual with this other guy who I didn't love, and then end up spending 20 years of my life with him and having 7 children. And then when I leave him, when I finally realise that he's a bad man, that I don't have to stay married to him, I get a divorce and I meet another guy. And who would have thought that a load of busybodies would get involved who didn't know me and didn't understand my heart or this other person's heart, and then stopped us being together. And then I thought that he had been married off to somebody else, and in my upset and sorrow, I ended up getting with someone else that I wasn't in love with either, and marrying this other person out of, like, first of all, my first husband was trying to get me back when I'd divorced him. He was trying to get me to be back with him, and then this other guy had asked me to marry him, and church became busy. People became busybodies and stopped us being together. And then I'd gone dancing to distract my sorrows, and then this person comes up to me while I'm dancing away. I didn't want to make any eye contact with anyone. My heart was for the person that had proposed to me, and who I'd fallen in love with. And this guy comes up to me and kisses me straight on the lips, and I was like, I love somebody else. And anyway, but this person that I'd met dancing, because I was a missionary person, I took him to church with me. He said, I told him, he said, would you like a drink? I said, I don't drink, I drink water. And then he asked me if I wanted a cigarette. I said, I don't smoke, and because of my faith. And then he said that day, this particular person said, oh, I'll give up smoking and drinking. And I love someone else, and he said, can we be friends? Anyway, so, and he said, can I go to church with you? So I thought, well, what's the harm in taking him to church and introducing him at church? Well, I was in a new area, and obviously it was the same area where they was trying to get me separated from this other person that wanted to marry me. And the reason why they didn't want me to marry him is because I had 7 children and he was a virgin, this other person. And so the church busybodies, they just hadn't prayed. They had just used their eyes, and they hadn't figured things out. Anyway, so I took this guy along to church, and straight away everyone was pairing us up. I'd only known him one day because I met him on the Saturday, and the church was on the Sunday, you know. And but I thought it was good for him to go to church, because church, you know, it was part of who I was since I was 15. And then that was one area, and then I thought the next week, I wasn't having any of this pairing up, but I was just being being kind to him, because I could see that this person was being manipulated and controlled, and because the person that had asked me to marry him was being manipulated and controlled, I didn't want this other person to be. So I thought I'd be his friend. Anyway, so the next Sunday, I thought I'd take him to another my church that's in another area, not far, but where I have friends and where he could get to know people. And that's when it was announced from the stand that there'd been an earthquake in the Philippines or something, and the person that had proposed to me, who I'd been separated from, or who they wouldn't let me talk to, he'd apparently been in the Philippines. He'd been taken there, like they was trying to match him up and find him a wife. And when my friends told me this, as well as me hearing it, I collapsed. I was so upset and so mortified and so devastated. And this person that I'd only known 1 week, he was like, I'll marry you, forget about that guy, I'll marry you. And I was absolutely just heartbroken, and I was suicidal and everything. And I thought that this guy had, you know, gone and got married, or like, anyway, he was safe in this earthquake. Thank goodness he was safe. But